Hi, this is Carolyn, and I'm here with Erin, and this is part 2 of our episode with Jen. Jen got bumped from 3.5 to 5.0 in 3 years. If you'd like to learn more about her background, please check out part 1, but here's part 2, where she starts off discussing her reaction when she found out she got bumped to 5.0.
Both when I bumped to 4.5 and then this year, Erin knows because I called her that morning. I did I'm a coach at my club. And so I did the safe play thing through USTA. So I got the email early and I sobbed when I got this most recent bump, and I know that maybe sounds silly because I know, I am aware that it's a privilege to even talk about being at that level and, really a special thing, but it changes your life. It has changed my something that I've come to really love, and that something that has given me a lot in my life is, tennis. And I started it as a daytime when my kids were at school activity. And it has, given me friendships and health and just, so much. And that is now gone. And so I'm having a hard time. Even right now, I could sort of cry, like kind of coming to terms with that. So
yeah, because we've talked about there's a pathway from 2.5 and up, but not once you hit that 5.0 level, right?
Yeah. So do you not have a team at 5.0 right now?
So in our area,
are there teams?
Right.
Are there teams?
Yeah,
I guess
there are teams. In our area, and I'm sure this is very different depending on where you are, but in our area, there are not teams like you all know that, a lot of us play in the different local, we call them Eno and Cary. And in our area, you can kind of travel not far and play. So a lot of our friends play on, 2 teams in Raleigh, 2 teams in Cary, and an Eno team. And, so you kind of can build all these teams that you're playing on. And so for 5.0, there is not Durham, Cary, there's none there. And so there's only one Raleigh team. And also in the other brackets, you can play 18 and 40 because I am well over 40. But in 5.0, there is not a 40. So it is one league and it plays on Sunday afternoons. I had already made the decision I did not want to play on weekends because that's when I'm
with the kids.
That I did not start tennis to be another thing on the weekends when my kids,
Yes,
I started tennis to be what I did during the day.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Did you appeal?
I did. I took my time with it. I did not hit it right away because I just wanted to make sure, because, USTA is very clear about you can't undo an appeal. So I just thought, I want to make sure this is what I want. it may be something I would never achieve again. I just want to make sure. But the more I thought about it and talked to friends that week, I was like, no, what am I thinking? And so I did hit appeal and it was denied.
I hit appeal this year too at 4.0 and it was denied.
I know. I think that's, I heard Erin say the thing on the last podcast about that. And I'm the one that said that. I think if you battle cancer, you should be able to say, I want to be this level. And USTA should make that happen.
Carolyn's like, I'm coming back as a 2.5.
Yeah.
I know, right? You can come with me, Jen. We'll do it again.
I know. I mean, this, maybe y'all are going to laugh at this, but like, I feel like a 4.0 at heart. Like that's how I feel. Like I feel like a 4.0.
Yeah, you should see her play. She doesn't look like a 4.0.
Yeah, I'm sure. That is kind of because you don't hear these stories that often of somebody making it to 5.0 and then not having the ability to play.
Opportunities. Yeah, it really does. So like I said, there's a really good pathway, and USTA has done an amazing job of getting people who have never touched a racket. There's
2.5, 3.0, 3.5, 4.0.
There's all those programs for like just jump on a court and for $40 we'll give you a racket and a coach and 6 weeks of training. And, so they have all this. And then there's learn to play and then learn to play in a league. This whole, really, they've done a good job of that pathway, but there are a lot of areas in our country that don't even have a lot of 4.5s. They just might be smaller. We're really lucky. We live in a very competitive, I think we're the number 2 in the country now for the amount of tennis players we have in our area or something, but it's like us, Atlanta, you name a big city, there's a lot. We've had people reach out that are like, can you ask USTA to combine men and women's? We don't have to call it mixed. Maybe we could have like 3 guys and a woman on the court, just because they just don't have the opportunity to play. And here we are, like Jen said, we've got 18 over, 40 over. In our area, in our club, we've got 55s, 65s, 75-year-olds. They've got all those leagues, plus all the different areas that we could travel to. So Jen, unfortunately, at 5.0 is just out of those options.
You're just too good, Jen. You've gotten too good too quickly.
Yeah, and I mean, thank you. That's part of what I'm struggling with too, is that I don't really feel like it. So, but I did have the win, so I guess I've got to accept it. And I would also be remiss. I left out. I kind of glossed through my 4.0 year, and I will also say, we're talking about what I did. I did take a lot of lessons that year. And so I can't, leave out, some phenomenal coaches really taught me a lot. And so, that was a big part. I did that mostly during the year that I was a 4.0. I was blessed to be able to do that almost weekly. And that was incredible. In fact, Aaron and I, and our other friend who's also been on the podcast, did
our Jersey friend.
Yeah. Did a group lesson. And then I did some privates. So that was also incredibly helpful.
Yeah. And I know we've said it, but it's not just natural ability. She worked really, really, really hard at working out constantly, like she said, nutrition. She kind of did it all, and she just did it so quick. A lot of people say they're going to commit to doing that, and maybe they do it. Maybe it takes some years. Maybe they dabble in it. Jen really went full force into it, and she's just very, very quick. She has amazing footwork from her other sport.
There's professional athletes that play tennis and they, 3.5, 4.0.
Yeah.
They're not getting bumped to 5.0.
Yeah.
So that shows how much you worked, how hard you worked, how much you've done. Even though you are a phenomenal athlete, there's other professional athletes that play tennis now and they're not getting bumped to 5.0.
Well, thank y'all. I appreciate that.
Yeah, there's a few in our area. We interviewed a baseball player. I know a hockey player. They're playing tennis and
very, very good.
Very good. Yeah,
good.
4 to 4.5, but not getting bumped to 5.0.
It's really fun for me to watch the different sports that people come out of and watch how it appears on the tennis court. You've got the volleyball players who are just like crazy net people who look like they look like they love being up there at that net and putting that ball away. And then you've got, we have at our club, when you just said hockey, that's what made me think of this. And I played her this morning, so maybe that's why it's fresh on my mind. But we have somebody who played hockey, ice hockey, and she was a keeper, a goalie. And whatever, the way that she slaps at the ball in these crazy arm movements looks like a hockey goalie, but it comes back at you in the craziest spin that you ever will see, and it's very effective. She's a very, very good player, and just fun to watch. A soccer player, and people will say, "What sport did you play?" Because they can tell there's something there, and I think that is maybe the running and the footwork.
Yeah.
And so, it's fun to watch to see the different sport, the different athletes, and how it looks on the tennis court. That is fun.
Yeah. Carolyn gets in trouble because she was a basketball player and she was like, just run up to the net at any point.
Like when I shouldn't.
Like anytime.
I should not.
So she's like, time to get to the net.
I'd rather be at the net than at the baseline.
Yeah.
I just run to the net.
Willy-nilly, whenever.
And I do the opposite. I get, the coaches yell at me all the time, especially in singles, but, I'll go to midway up and hit a ball and then backtrack, but I want to be on the baseline. Get as far away from the net as possible.
Me too. It's like there's a magnet on the baseline. It just pulls me back. Okay. So since you have now played USTA leagues and a zillion matches in the last 3 years, is that all you've been playing?
2020, yeah.
2020, yeah. Okay.
And won almost all of them too.
Yeah. Do you have a craziest story that you can tell our listeners? People love to hear about the crazy.
Yeah. I have I think what I have is like a lot of crazy stories. I feel like every week, Aaron and I are texting and telling each other about crazy stories. But then it's like when you try to think of like the one crazy story to share, that's when it gets hard. One that comes to mind for me is that I was playing. I had lots of things happen that first year that were funny to me, like a player that, and this is 3.5, adult recreational tennis, and a woman came out and was switching rackets every changeover, and she had like 20 bag tags, from all her championships, and was just very undone over that she was losing to me, and yelled at me, you are not a 3.5, and a lot of things like that happened over the years. But the one that I guess I was going to tell you about is that I had a player. We were playing very competitive singles match, and she was doing well. She was ahead, and then I kind of had a little comeback, and she cried. She came to the net at one of the changeovers and literally had tears rolling down her cheeks and said, I would really like to go back to the way that we were playing at the beginning. I really do not.
When I was beating you.
Yeah, I'd really.
Can we play that way instead?
Yeah, and I really do not. And it was very sincere, and I really do not like this anymore. And I kind of just thought to myself, like, what do you want me to do? Like, that's all I need to know. Like, I mean, this is a tennis match, like I'm going to keep going the way I am. So, and I think it was being just crazy, obnoxiously consistent, hitting balls, maybe even with less pace to the middle of the court kind of thing. And I beat her, but that was bizarre to me that she thought that would be an effective strategy to cry
and to ask someone, I'm going to try that next time when I'm winning and then I fall behind, maybe like I get broken. I'm going to go up and ask my opponent, hey, could you like do all the stuff you were just doing when I was beating you instead? That's crazy. That's pretty nutty. I wonder if she remembers that she did that.
Erin, have you ever made someone cry? I've never made anybody cry.
Oh, I've made, back to me, I interrupted Erin.
No, I don't.
There have been several I've made a lot of people cry. I think I'm just very frustrating to play against, but.
Does that make you feel awkward at all?
Oh, yeah.
To me, it would make me feel awkward.
Yes.
Like,
why would people do that? Do you think they do that in men's tennis? Never.
I think I'm frustrating. I think that, I think it's very frustrating to play a type of player who just gets things back a lot. And I think I've had people say, I'm hitting him out because I feel like I've got to get it on the line or you're going to get to it. And so I think it's just, I think I'm frustrating. So I do, people do cry.
That's just nuts.
I've cried too. We're women, I know.
Jen, so can you also tell us your most memorable moment on the court?
Yes, I'm a huge fan of this podcast, and so I knew that question was coming. And so I think probably I'd have to say, there have been so many, as I'm sure everybody, would say, and absolutely, our state championships, and those have been incredibly special, and I've gotten to be, a part of several at this point. But I'd say there have to be two, and one is that I actually won a state championship in high school. Our tennis team won the 2A, which if you're, from North Carolina, you know what that means.
But school.
Right. But if you're not, it means that it's a small school. We're from a small town, state championship. And, as a whatever I was, 16-year-old, that was just so exciting. And, to have all the parents there, it was just really, really special. And we'd made it to the final for 3 straight years. And so to win that match was, it has to be among my top tennis moments, even though it was a long time ago. And the other one was, I guess, playing at nationals, that I'm sure is something I'll never experience again. And even though we didn't win, I believe we finished 5th. That was also still, just a highlight, to say I did it. And it was really fun.
Yeah, I've never even made it to regionals.
It's hard. It's really hard.
Wah, wah, wah.
We would have made it to regionals several times if they had regionals. But,
true.
Yeah,
we did win the state championship in singles several times. But Jen was also so amazing at nationals because she was kind of our marketing girl and pushing our podcast and
Thank you so much for doing that, Jen.
She was wearing our sticker on her shirt while she was playing. So she was giving us some love all the way at nationals.
Although, should we have had Jen doing that? Because she's making people cry.
True. I did not make anybody cry at nationals. I think it was,
okay.
Yeah, it was okay. I played against lovely people.
We really appreciate Jen coming on the podcast. If you're aware of any other person like Jen who climbed the rankings really quickly, please let us know. You can message us on our website, which is secondservepodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening and hope to see you on the courts soon.